Hello, today on Luminar Coffee Break, we're going to be discussing the basics of Portrait Bokeh AI in Luminar AI's photo editing software. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Luminar Coffee Break. I'm Angela Andrew, and today we're going to be talking about Portrait Bokeh AI, one of the newest and coolest tools inside of Luminar AI. Let me go ahead and share my screen and we'll get started. We've got an image up on the screen of the beautiful Erica, and I'm going to show you what we started with. Here's the before, and then here's the after. And if you notice, the background is now beautiful and creamy and has that great bokeh that we associate with using a wide open aperture on usually an expensive lens. Now, if you don't have the right lighting, the right gear, sometimes you need to add that bokeh in post-processing, and Portrait Bokeh AI makes it really easy. So here's again the before, the after. Now let me show you how I did it. I'm going to right click on the image, go to adjustments, and revert this to the original. And you'll see that I did quite a bit here. Mostly I cropped this in and changed the aspect ratio. We're going to start with a template, and we're going to scroll down to this category called close-ups and use the brush up template. And you'll notice that immediately smooths your skin a little bit. It does some really nice things with the highlights and the shadows, pops the color a little bit. And you can see it just does a nice overall job of improving the image. Now let's go over to the Edit tab and make a few adjustments. First thing I want to do is crop this. I'll use our Composition AI tool and switch the aspect ratio from portrait orientation to landscape orientation, and then I can just move this up a little bit and get this position where I like it. I think there looks great, and I'll hit return on my keyboard to go ahead and commit that crop. Now, the brush up template did most of the heavy lifting I wanted to do for this particular portrait as far as working with her face and her features, but I do notice that she has a little bit of shine on her skin and that there is a little bit of a blown out highlight here in the background. Let's grab that highlight first under the light tool, and I'm going to pull back on those highlights, just darken down those brightest areas a little bit. There we go, that looks good. And now we'll scroll down to our Skin AI tool and bring up that shine removal just to get rid of some of that shine on our face. And I think that looks great. Now let's dive into Portrait Bokeh AI. Click on the Portrait Bokeh AI tool, and I'm going to go ahead and bring that amount up right about there. And as this is working, you'll notice it does take a moment to process. What's happening here is that it's noticing that there's a human in the image. It's making a mask of that person and then creating a depth map that looks at how deep the background is in the image and makes the appropriate adjustments. There you can see it finally finished calculating. So it is not the quickest tool, but this because there's a lot going on while that's happening. So now that we've had that blur, let's go ahead and move our mouse over the image and we can see the red outline for where the mask was created. There's a couple of things that we'll need to fix. And you can see that there was a little bit of the tree here that was caught, and we can fix that. A little bit over here that we can fix there, and a little bit of her sunglasses that didn't get caught in the mask. So let's first get this bit here of that tree. We can click on the defocus button, and I'm going to bring my softness of my brush all the way down, so it's a hard edge brush, and I'm going to make that brush size quite a bit smaller, and then just go in here with my brush that in to get rid of that there. And I'm going to do the same thing over here just to get that little edge right there. Now we'll let that calculate. There we go, that's better. And I'm going to go to focus and then grab that point on her glasses. I hear a couple of comments coming in on the chat. Hello everyone, glad to see you today. Joseph, Gerardo, Pat, Jerry, so good to see you guys. So Jerry asked, how do you see the mask? All you have to do is move your mouse over the image and the mask will appear. So now I'm going to go ahead and I've selected focus, and let's go ahead and brush in that little bit here that it missed. And now we've perfected we can adjust the amount if we want a little bit more or less of that bokeh effect. And then I always encourage you to go into the advanced settings, and in this case, the background settings. And there's a bunch of things here we can do to adjust the background of this image. I'm going to darken it a little bit, and we can add a little bit of extra warmth. If you need to adjust the depth, and that's going to be how close the blur is to the person and how far away. So you can see everything here is a little bit clearer. Everything back here is a little bit farther away and blurrier. This depth correction, that's what that's going to control. And if you have any edges of the mask that aren't quite right, that you weren't able to get with the brush, give this edge correction slider a try. It can do some really, really great things. So let's go ahead and take a look at our before and our after. We were able to simulate something that would have been caught with a much more expensive lens, giving us that beautiful creamy background with very, very minimal work. I hope you guys enjoy this introduction to Portrait Bokeh AI. It is a great tool. I hope you'll check it out. We'll be diving more into these background controls and some of the advanced controls in upcoming episodes, so I hope you will stay tuned and catch those. If you enjoyed this, make sure you give us a thumbs up here on YouTube, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.